This conference will now be recorded.
Fine. We were discussing something about control statements in our previous session. Okay, the control statements. What actually the control statement is? Control statements are simply nothing but which makes the program execute in a particular path. Okay, or which makes the program easier to be executed. That is what actually the control statement is. Okay, in control statements, we have seen a few types of control statements. They are like while, okay, while statement, do while statement, okay, for loop, and we have seen some. We have discussed about transfer statements. Okay, transfer statements are nothing but break statements and continue statements and the return statements. Return statements. Okay, we have seen about break statements. We have seen this kind of break statements in switch cases. Okay, switch. What is switch statement? Switch is also a type of control statement which makes the program easier to execute. Okay, we have already seen these examples. No need to explain again and again. So I am moving fast. Okay, next one is a return statement. A return statement is simply nothing but which helps to return a type of a value, what the result should be or what the result could be. Okay, if you want, if you we have already seen that if we are comparing two type of values and if the result is something, what we were doing is we were trying to display that particular variable and we were trying to print the variable on the screen. Okay, here what happens here is if we simply write return a, the particular value will be displayed on the screen. Okay, that is what the use of the return statements are actually. So these are also coming under control statements. Okay. And the next topic is arrays. We will start with the new topic, arrays today. What actually is an array? In general words, array is simply nothing but a combination of same type of elements in a single variable. Okay, as of now, we have seen variable is simply nothing but it is one data type variable. Okay, variable is simply nothing but it is a type of a data type which can hold some sort of values. Okay, which can hold some sort of values. When it comes to arrays, it is also a type of a variable, but which can hold multiple values of same data type. For example, if you want to store 10 students' marks in a single variable, okay, then what, I mean, 10 subjects, 10 subject marks of a single student in a single variable, like subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, like that till subject 10, then these kind of arrays are going to help us a lot. So when we are discussing something about arrays, we need to understand one thing, and we must be clear in understanding arrays. Arrays are simply nothing but which can hold data of same data type, not of different data type. For example, if you want to store name of a particular candidate, it is of character type. Okay. Now, if you want to store the marks of a single student, it is of integer data type. So we are having the two types of data types here. One is character and another one is integer type. Okay. So what happens here is we can't club these two types of data types in a single variable. Okay. If we want to segregate all same type of data type in a single variable, we call such type of things as arrays. Okay, we will see some example so that we can understand and we can discuss actually what actually a array is. Then only you will be more clearer in understanding. Okay, so only one student is there. Okay, anyway, we will continue. Okay, we'll see a small program so that you can understand more clearly what actually an array is. Okay, this is a small program which can store few numbers. Okay, and which can give us the average of the numbers which we have entered. Here in this program, what we are doing is we are trying to enter only we are trying to enter five integer numbers. Okay, and what we are doing is we are trying to add those five numbers, and we are trying to find the average of those five numbers. But the final result, what we are displaying is we are going to display only the average of those numbers. So what finally the destination, finally the result, what should we display is like we must display the average of those numbers. Okay, so we will type this small program here so that it will be more clear for you. We know what we are typing. Okay, int marks, and this is the way how we can declare an array. Marks 10. This means that this marks can store 10 types of different values in a same variable marks. Okay. If we don't give like this, it means that it can simply store only one one value in the variable marks. If we give like this, it can store 10 different values in a single variable marks. I, n, sum equal to 0, average. So I have declared the 5 types of variables here of integer data type. In that, one variable is of array type, that is marks variable. Okay, and marks variable can hold 10 values in a single variable. And I have declared variable I, variable n, sum, and average. We need to enter the number of elements that we want to give as input. Okay, one thing you should be clear, we have given like a 10 here for the marks variable. It means that the marks variable can store 10 different values. Okay, and while entering, it is not mandatory that you need to enter 10 different values in that particular variable marks. It is up to you that you can enter one variable, you can enter one value in that particular variable. You can enter 2, 3, 4, 5 like that till 10. The maximum is 10 and minimum is your choice. Okay. What I am doing here is I am trying to take the input, that number of values what I am going to give, and I am writing a for loop here. For of I equal to 0, I less than n, I enter number. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to enter the number into the variables. And I will write here I plus 1. I will say why I am writing I plus 1 here so that you can understand it clearly. Okay, you people know that what actually this particular statement is. Okay. Average. I'm trying to print the average. This is what actually the program is. Okay. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to enter marks of a single student here, and I'm trying to find the average of all the students. That is what simply. I will check for errors now. I'm having an error. Statement missing. Okay, this particular error means in this line it is showing error. We must check the above line where the error could be. So here in this line I didn't provide the semicolon. So it is the error. Now no errors. I'm going to run the program. Number of elements. I'm going to enter 3. We can enter n number of elements again. Enter number 1 like 25, number 2 25, number 3 25. And here what I am doing here is I have entered 3 marks of a single student, and I would like to know the average of all the marks what I have entered. Means why we need to know the average is if you are writing exams, so finally you are going to get some sort of total marks, right? And you people will be knowing some sort of percentage to calculate the average. Okay, that is what average marks that what a student has achieved by writing all the examinations. Now the result would be like 25, right? So 25, 25, 25 by 3, 75 by 3 is like 25. I have entered 25 by 3 times is like to make you clear that I have entered the same number so that the average will be the same. Okay. Now if I enter like this, no clear screen, right? So it is displaying the previous result. Okay, 5 variables, 20, 20, 20, 20. 5 is 100. 100 by 5 is again 20. So the result will be like 20. Okay, fine. Next time I will run the program. 2 marks now I will give. One is 10 and second mark is 20. What could be the average? It should be like 30 by 2 is 15, right? 15. Is it clear? So the result will be like this. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to simply take the input of different input of marks and we are trying to calculate the average here. Okay, nothing more than that. We are trying to do this. Okay, now we will go to the slides and we will understand what actually an array is. Array. Array is a collection of homogeneous elements and shared by a common name. Okay, elements are stored in linear order and accessible with an index. Okay, now what is this homogeneous element? Homogeneous elements are simply nothing but same type of elements. Just now we have discussed how an array will be, how array will be. Okay, simply like it will be like a variable, but beside the variable we are going to give some number in the square braces. Okay, that number is going to decide how many types of values that particular variable is going to accommodate. Okay, so what we can understand here is it is a array is also a simple type of a variable, okay, which can hold multiple values of same data type. Okay, be clear in that. Array is simply nothing but which can hold the same type of data types, which can hold same type of values in a single variable. That is what the definition is like. It is a collection of homogeneous elements. Okay, elements are stored in linear order and they are accessible with an index. Okay, so they are stored in a linear order. What is this linear order? Linear order is simply nothing but some sort of a serial order. They will be stored in a serial order beyond like first element, first, next element, second, next, third, like that. Okay, and with accessible with an index. What is this index? Now, if you want to access some sort of variable, some sort of number in a particular array, how you can access it by using the index. Okay, what is this index? Now, you people must understand what actually index is. If you open your textbooks, you people will be having a index page initially when you open a textbook. That index is going to simply give you the rough idea where the different contents of the that particular subject is available in that particular book. So index provides you some sort of understanding or some sort of clarity that to access that particular content you need it. Okay. Arrays will be having the same type of data. Okay, so they are homogeneous type of elements. Arrays will be having a fixed size. For example, arrays, whatever you are going to declare it, okay, arrays, whatever you are going to declare it, whether it could be like 10 values in a single variable. So that particular variable can hold 10 values in a single variable. So it could not be changed again. Even though you use less number of values to enter and you use it, that particular 10 will be wasted. For example, you are giving 10 and you are entering only two variables or two values or three values in that particular variable. The rest are left blank and that particular memory or that particular space, whatever you are trying to use it will be wasted. Arrays can access the previous element easily. Okay, so the elements whatever you have entered that can be easily accessed. Arrays are static data structures. What is the static data structures? Static data structures are simply nothing but they are of some sort of structure which could be maintained without any further changes. For example, we have already seen what is a static variable. Static variable is simply nothing but a variable in which a particular value will be present constantly for the entire program. Whereas a simple variable is a dynamic variable. That variable's value would be changed as per the need in the program whenever it is needed. Okay. So arrays are the static data structures. Arrays having a fast retrieval based on index. So arrays, the values in the array could be retrieved in the sense could be accessed by using the index number. For example, we have just seen marks of 10. Suppose if you are going to enter 10 marks, such 10 values in a single variable marks, and if you want to know the fifth subject marks, then how could you find these? Like you can simply access it by using marks of 5. Okay, that is what the index-based retrieval is. Okay. Or if you want, if some sort of values have been already stored, and if you want to alter the values in a single, if you want to alter the values in that particular array, how you can alter is by using the index number. Arrays are having memory wastage. That is what I just said. Okay. Now, whenever a array is being declared with the size 10 or whatever the size that you are declaring for a particular variable, if you are going to use it for less number of values that you are going to pass, then the total number of values what it could accommodate is like more, it will be wasted. Example, we have just seen marks of 10. So that particular marks variable can hold 10 values in a single variable marks. But we have entered maximum of only 5, that too 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, like 5 times, right? So I have entered only 5 values in marks. Rest 5, remaining 5, I have left it blank. Okay, it is simply nothing but memory wastage will be happening. So marks of 10 in the sense it will hold the size for 10 values to be stored, but I am going to use only for 5 values. Rest 5 values I haven't entered. Okay, it is not expecting, but it will automatically store memory for 10 values for that particular variable marks. Okay, even though we use or we don't use entirely, whatever we declare the size of the array, it will be present. Okay. If you try to give more number of values, what happens is the values which are given more than the size of the array, it will be truncated or eliminated. Arrays having insertion and deletion will be tough. Okay, one thing you need to understand here. We are declaring array variable, fine. Now, if you want to enter values in the particular variable, we should know the index of the particular position where you want to enter the value. Okay, and if you want to delete a particular value in that particular array, then you should know the index of that particular array. For example, we just discussed we are having 10 marks, and if you would like to delete third mark of the particular student, you should know the index of that particular variable array. Then only it is possible for us to alter or insert or delete a particular value in the array data array. Okay, so we can simply say arrays are having a insertion and deletion and they are little bit tough. Arrays are static data structures. We have already seen arrays are static data structures. Why we call it as a static data structures? Like when they are declared, they are constant in its size. They could not be and they cannot be changed in its size in future if they needs to be changed. For example, you people are trying to enter like 10 marks now and declaring it as 10 marks, and in future if you are going to get some other new subject, then 11th subject 11 marks could not be 11th subject marks could not be entered into that particular data type or array. Array starts from 0 to n minus 1. For example, you are declaring that 10 as a number for marks. For example, see this, we are having 5 boxes, but the index numbers are given like this. The index number will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the array size is 5. So even though we give number, okay, the maximum index number of that particular array will be n minus 1. It means if you are going to give one number, okay, one number means number in the sense the number of values that a array should contain, the index value of that particular array will be n minus 1, obviously. Okay, repeating again, if we are going to declare a array of size n, for example 10, it means that it can hold, that array can hold 10 values. It's clear, but the index value will always start from 0, so that the highest index number of that particular array will be always n minus 1. So you be clear here, the array size here is 5. Okay, the index number here is 4, so n minus 1, 5 minus 1 is 4. So what should we understand here is the number will be 1 and the index number will be 1. So it is different here when we are going to understand something about arrays here. Okay. In array, row is the major order. Okay, we know what is a row and what is a column. Okay, this is what actually a row is. Okay, here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are having 7 rows here. Okay, and whatever we have in vertical, they are called as columns. Horizontal rows and vertical columns. Okay, so this is one row, and we are having 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, and 5 columns. We are having 5 columns. Generally, columns will indicate the size of the array, but it is not true if we are going to think like that. We will see why it is not true when we are going to think a number of columns will denote the size of the array. Okay, here we call these type of arrays as single dimensional arrays. Single dimensional arrays are simply nothing but the arrays having only one row can be called as single dimensional arrays. We will see what actually is that in coming slides so that you can understand clearly. Next, the total memory required for an array is size of the data type. So how the array size could be calculated, how the array size will be found is like it depends again on the data type what we are using for that particular array. For example, marks of 10 I have just given, right? Here marks of 10 is an array, okay, and I have declared that particular array as integer data type. So the array size is going to be dependent on the type of the data type what we are using. Okay. The maximum number of dimensions of an array can have in C language is compiler dependent. What is this compiler dependent is? Compiler. What actually the compiler is? Compilers are simply nothing but the data. Compilers are simply nothing but the platform where the program is being typed. Okay. What the compiler, what we are using here is a MS-DOS, okay, or DOS box, right? What you people are using, it is a compiler. Okay. From compiler to compiler, it is going to change. Okay, for the size of the array, the dimensions of the array, what actually the dimension is, you can understand in the coming slide. So no need to confuse it now. Now here we are having some example. To store the marks of 5,000 students, you can declare an array marks of size 5,000 and can store marks as many as students. So this is in array declaration of integer data type. Here what we have done here is we have declared an array marks of 5,000 student size of integer data type. Repeating again, we have declared an array marks of size 5,000 of data type integer. Okay. So this particular marks variable can hold 5,000 students marks. Okay, 5,000 student marks of integer data type, not of other data type. If it is going, if your people are going to enter of other data type, it will throw you an error. Okay, so this particular marks variable can hold 5,000 students marks of integer data type. This is how you can initialize an array. Okay, we know how to initialize a variable. Int I equal to 5. We have seen in the program, right? Similarly, we can even initialize an array. So this is what actually int mark of 5. So this mark variable is of integer data type and it can hold 5 marks. So I am giving the I'm passing the values to the array mark. So in this fashion I can pass it. So it will start like a curly brace. Okay, 19 followed by comma 10 comma 8 comma 17 comma 9. Okay, so what happens here is this these values will be stored into the mark array variable of integer data type. This is one way. And this is another way of initializing values into the mark array. Now, if you observe clearly, I have given 5 here and I haven't given 5 here. Okay, this defines that this can hold only 5 values, and this can say that I can hold more than 5 values of n number of values what you are going to enter. Okay, so here if you are going to add sixth value also, this particular mark array will hold. Okay, whereas if you are going to enter the sixth value into this particular mark variable, it cannot hold. So the difference here is if you are going to give some number in this bracket, it defines that only that many number of values it can accommodate. Here I haven't given any number here, so I can give more number of values into this particular array. Okay, here we haven't specified the size. However, the compiler knows its size is 5 as we are initializing it with 5 elements. So we are giving the 5 variables, 5 values here. So the compiler will understand it and it will accommodate these 5 values into the marked array. Okay, now how this index will be generated? We know that index numbers start with 0 and ends with the n minus 1 number for a particular array. Okay. Here, the size of this particular array is 5. Okay. Now, the index number will always be n minus 1. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So n minus 1 will be the index number. So 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. So this could be the index number, maximum index number of this particular mark array. Okay, mark of 0 is 19, mark of 1 is 10, mark of 2 is 8, mark of 3 is 17, mark of 4 is 9. So we are having a 5 variables in a single array mark. Okay. What is the basic terminology in defining array? An array is a form of ordered list. Okay. We know, we have just seen the array is a form of ordered list. Whatever you enter, it will be in an order. So an array is a form of ordered list. A list is composed of elements. So the list is composed of elements here. List will be having some sort of elements or values. Elements in the list have a common name. Common name here is simply nothing but the variable or array name. Marks. Okay, mark is the variable name here and it is of array type. So mark of 0, mark of 1, all will be having the same name, but the index number is going to change, getting changed. Okay, so the list as a whole is referenced through the common name. Okay, so wherever you use that particular name will be used in the whole program. The index number is going to be changed whenever it is needed. It is homogeneous. List is homogeneous. Homogeneous means it is of same data type. That is, list elements are of the same type. That is the base type. The base type is nothing but integer. Elements of a list are referenced by subscripting, that is indexing the common name. Okay, and that is what I just said to you. Wherever if you want to use that particular array in the program, how you can use it, like you can use that particular array name and followed by the index number to access that particular variable of an array. Why array is needed? Where you need to store similar type of values for a large number of data items. For example, in a class, if there are 20 students, and if you would like to note all the 20 students' names, you cannot declare 20 variables of character type. So what we can do here is like we can, 1 second please. Sorry for interruption. Okay. If there are 10 students in a class and if you want to uh, if you want to if you want to register all the 10 students names without using array, what you people will do is you will declare 10 variables of character data type and you will start saving all their names in each variable. Okay, but when it comes to array, simply you can say like name and in brackets if you give 10, that particular name is of array data type and it can hold 10 students names. So this array helps us in simplifying the programming skills. Okay, it shortens the program length. Okay, the lines of code will be reduced by using the arrays. It makes simple also to understand. But when it comes to data, I mean the value passing, when it comes to access a particular value of a variable, if you want to change, if you want to alter a particular value of that particular array, it becomes little bit tedious or tough. Why? Because we need to know the uh, index number of that particular array to alter it. Without knowing the index number, it becomes difficult for us to alter the array. To store the marks of all the students of a university, you need to declare thousands of variables. In addition, each variable name needs to be unique. So what we are going to do here is if you are not going to use array, and if you want to enter 10 students name in a class, you need to give like name 1, name 2, name 3. Why? Because each and every variable should be unique. It must be different when you are entering, right? When you are declaring. So it becomes difficult. Instead of doing so, what we can do here is we can simply declare it as an array. Array index element number always starts with 0 and ends with n-1. This is what we just discussed. The index of the particular array will start with a 0 and it will end with n-1. So 0 is the starting and n-1 will be the ending. So if you are having the 10 elements in an array, then the index number will start from 0 and the maximum index number will be and could be 9. Okay. Creation of arrays. Sorry. There are two types here. Declaration of the arrays and creating memory locations here. Okay. Arrays are of fixed length. Why? Because arrays are of sorry, arrays are of fixed length. Why? Because whatever you declare, that particular size will be maintained for the entire program. You can't change the size of the array in the particular program, so it becomes a little bit difficult. Okay, length is specified at the create time. Correct? Why? Because you people are going to give the size of the array. Size of the array is simply nothing but the length of the array. Okay, marks of 10. 10 is going to be called as size of the array, or it can be also called as length of the array. So length is specified at the create time, or size of the array is again declared during the creation time. There are three types of array here: one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and a multi-dimensional array. One-dimensional array is this type of declaration. What we have just seen is marks of 10. So this particular A is an array here and it can hold two values. So it is of one dimensional array. When you see here 2 of 2, it means that it can hold two rows and it can hold two columns. When it comes here, it holds two columns in a single row. This says that it can hold two rows and two columns. This is a multi-dimensional. How the values whatever you enter more than two can be called as a multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, here in this you people are going to have three rows and three columns. Okay, so we are having three types of arrays here. One is one-dimensional array, second one is a two-dimensional array, and the third one is multi-dimensional array. In one-dimensional array, we are going to have a single row, okay, and the number in the one-dimensional array will define the number of columns present. When it comes to two-dimensional array, the first value will represent the number of rows and the second value will represent the number of columns. Again, these numbers could not be same. It could be like 3 and 2, it could be like 2 and 3, or whatever it could be 9, 2, 2, 9, whatever the different numbers it could be, any numbers it can be. It is not like it should be same. Okay. and multi-dimensional arrays, but more than two columns arrays, two rows declaration of arrays can be called as a multi-dimensional arrays. We will see in the next coming slides. Okay, see here. Here, this is a type of array representation. Okay, here we are having three rows: row 0, row 1, row 2, and we are having five columns: column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. And column numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 can also be called as index numbers. Okay. Now, if you want to access this particular cell of array, we can access it by 0, 0 because it is a row 0 and column 0. If you want to access this particular cell, this is of row 0 and this is of column 1. If you want to access this, this is of row 0 and column 2. This one 0, 3, this one 0, 4. Similarly, this one is row 1, so we can access it by using 1, 0. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 like that. Okay, and this is of row 2. So we are having three rows: row 0, row 1, row 2, and columns of 5 size. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this is what the general matrix representation is. Okay, we will stop the class today with this slide. Okay, we will continue in the next class with respect to the array, and we can understand more clear. Okay, if I discuss more also, it will be a little bit confusing for you people. Okay, okay, then we will see tomorrow. Yeah, thank you.